Hello, and welcome to another episode of Teach Now Cribs. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about technology in the classroom. Is it good? Is it bad? Do you use it? Let's find out. All right. To start off with, we have some pictures of technology. We have a very studious-looking child working at a computer from the 80s. Maybe early 90s. We also have a USB stick and a classic projector. I don't think any of us have used any of these items other than the USB in our classroom. All right. I apologize. I've been sick this week, so if it sounds like there's a frog in my throat trying to get out, bear with me. All right, 7 minutes or less. I recorded this the first time, and it was 15, so I'm going to try to cut it down. Now, I had to come up with interview questions for 3 teachers. I had to create a summary of those 3 teachers' interviews and provide examples, which we'll see later. I also had to get a lesson plan from one of those 3 teachers and analyze it for tech-enabled stuff. And finally, create a checklist with a minimum, no more than 5 questions to help guide my own use of technology in the classrooms. And that will be at the very end. All right, I've inserted the ISTE standards for incorporating technology into your classrooms. We looked at this. It was in the little sidebar thing on the Teach Now platform, so you guys know all of those already. Now, my interview questions are, do you use technology in the classroom? If so, what do you use? Why? How? When? For how long? Tell me about it. Question number 2, do you allow your students to use technology in the classroom? If so, what, why, when, where, how? Examples of this could be like students using their tablets or personal computers or cell phones to participate and collaborate through a digital platform, say like Peer Decks or what's the other one? I think Caboodle or Kazoo or something like that. Yeah. All right. Number 3, do you think it's important for teachers and students to use technology in the classroom? Number 4, does your school have any rules or regulations that limit the amount of tech you can use in your classroom? And question 5, can you tell me an example of a non-tech activity that could be used with technology and whether or not it would enhance or potentially deteriorate the quality of the lesson? So I interviewed 3 teachers. Number 1, Millie Griffith. I used to work with her in South Korea for a couple years. She has since moved back to North Carolina. Angelique, you might be friends with her. She's from your neck of the woods. She teaches 7th and 8th grade social studies. My second teacher I interviewed was Ross Salarno. Now you guys know his last name. Find him on Facebook. And he teaches 2nd grade here at 21st Century International School, which is where and then 3rd, I interviewed Casey Gavin. She works at a school that I used to work at. We worked together in Korea. We worked together in Thailand. And I'm not really going to focus on her school so much because it is probably the least tech-friendly school of the 3 that I interviewed. They have a computer. They have a TV. They're both really small and really slow, and that's the extent of the technology that the program has. So let's focus on Millie. Millie is the teacher I interviewed, and I'm going to be talking about most. I got her lesson plan, and we'll go through that here in a minute. But yes, she uses technology in the classroom. Yes, all of the students have technology. They have computers. They use them daily. They've got projectors, they've got document cameras, their lessons are all stored on a digital format. So the students use a lot of technology. That kind of answers questions 1 and 2. You can also pause this video and read it all yourself, or just look at the document I'll upload along with this. She does think that it's important for students to use technology because that's where we're headed in the 21st century. A student who doesn't know how to use technology won't be prepared for real life. The school she's at is very fortunate in that they are very pro-technology, and she's actually co-chair of the Media Technology Advisory Team. Essentially, she trial runs tech for her school in her classrooms, and if it goes well, she approves it, and then the school implements it throughout the rest of the school as something that they can use. She told me about a lot of different apps that they use that students log into and participate from, Pear Decks being one of them, which sounds great, and I wish we could use it in China, but that's why we're not really talking about China very much, is because we have the great imperial firewall that blocks all things good. Yeah, so you can't use pretty much anything here unless you use a VPN, which is technically illegal. Yeah, we won't even get started on that. And yeah, they do end of term, end of grade testing online. That's the example she provided, because it could be done in a paper format. Traditionally, it always has been, but doing it on a digital platform allows it to be graded faster and allows it to get to the parents and the teachers and the students quicker so that everyone can be on the same page and understand. All right, now here's the fun part. Check out her lesson plan. I'm just going to scroll. You'll have this in the Word document I'm uploading onto the Teach Now site. In fact, I'm going to scroll faster because I'm running out of time. Excuse me. All right. So you saw all of that. 7 pages if you were counting. However, I talked to her about it a little bit more, and it turns out it's not one lesson plan. That lesson plan is intended for a unit, so roughly 8 lessons. So we're going to look at one specific lesson, because she said basically each activity is a lesson by itself. So in green, you can see the technology she uses. She uses PowerPoints with overlays. She incorporates videos and reading notes. She uses a lot of videos. If we go down here, we can see a list of technologies that she uses in her classroom. So PowerPoints we went over, lesson plans stored digitally so that other teachers can have access to it and everyone can share and collaborate. Short videos that are inserted into the PowerPoints or just by themselves. They use Flipbook. Sorry, again, frog trying to get out of my throat. They use Flipbook just to help build interactions with the students so they can scroll through pages on their own, they can answer questions on their own, they can watch videos on their own. And again, students have their own computers, and so they're able to participate in the lessons through their own use of technology. And the assignment at the end of this lesson was that they had to create a newspaper article about a monarch of their choosing as if it were in real time. Yeah, so, man, this is still going over time, but I think I'm going to get it done in less than 15 minutes. So, questions I came up with to help guide my own use of technology in the classroom. Question number 1 is why? In Thailand, I worked there for 2 years, and I had an amazing director of studies who would just drill us on why. It wasn't ever a bad thing, but he would poke his head into a classroom at any point during the day, watch for a couple minutes, then disappear. Sure enough, as soon as that class was over, he would find you and he would just ask, why? And the reason was just to make sure that you were constantly thinking about why you did what you did. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't to discourage you. It was just to ensure that there's a thought process going into your lesson and you're not just like, I'm going to show a video because it takes 3 minutes. Yeah. My second question is, will this approach overstimulate the students, which is a very real problem, especially with lower age students. You can show them a picture of something to provide an example, but you show them a GIF, an animation, or even a short video, and you're going to lose half of your students' attention span because they're focusing on what's happening instead of what they should be learning, what the word is. All right, number 3, can this be used to encourage collaboration between students, which is good, getting them to work together? Can this technology be adapted for differential instructions, which we learned about in Module 2, which is very important, and a lot of digital apps, you are able to adjust the requirements or what's expected. And finally, can this technology be used in a manner which will engage students? in competition and encourage students to participate in the lesson. Essentially, can you use this to play games or get kids to participate more? All right, it's not 15 minutes. I've gotten it down to 10. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's so long. Sorry my voice sounds horrible, but I'm done.